Java 9 has made it really easy for us to create collections with a small number of elements. For the longest time, Java has had this really bad rap of being too verbose, and rightfully so. But I think the last two versions have really started to address that. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at some static factory methods that were added in Java 9 that make it really easy for us to create collections. And we'll do that right after this. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dan Vega, and on this channel, you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials related to software development. If you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and as always, anything we talk about will be listed in the description below. With that, let's get on to today's tutorial. All right, so here we are at JEP 269. So if you're not familiar with Java and what a JEP is the JDK enhancement proposal. So it's kind of like a feature request that is submitted and then it's reviewed and endorsed by others and eventually turns into an actual feature. So here's a quick summary of what JEP 269 is. And it really is to define library APIs to make it convenient to create instances of collections and maps with a small number of elements. So to ease the pain of not having collection literals in the Java programming language. So really what that comes down to, if you've worked with other languages that have literals, you're able to create a map at the same time that you kind of declare it. You're able to create a set, or you're able to create a list and not have to go through the pain that really was in Java to create just a simple list or a map or a set. So I'm going to give you this link. You can go ahead and read through everything that's going on here. But I'm going to copy this and we're going to paste this into an editor and kind of walk through some different examples here. So here we are in IntelliJ, and I'm looking at the example from the documentation. And this is what we've had to go through to, say, create a new set. You have to create a set, give it a type, so in this case string. And we're creating a set of strings, and we're going to, on the right side, we're basically creating a new instance of a hash set. So from there, we can say set.add, 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 and that gives us our set. But if we wanted this to be unmodifiable, so you can't add or remove elements from it, then you need to call the collections.unmodifiable set and pass it in that set. So all that just to get a set. Now we could make this a little bit shorter and we could do something like this, but again that still doesn't look easy. I can imagine somebody new coming to the language going, geez, that's a lot just to accomplish a small task. So let's go ahead and comment that out so we don't get in the way. So we can also imagine that we want to do this sort of thing with lists. This comes up a lot. So maybe I want to create a list of strings and we'll call this cities. And this is going to be a new array list. And we can do something like that. And we can come in and say, I want to add new strings to this. So I'm going to add some cities in my area here. And let's just say we'll add 2 more. And let's go ahead and print those out. And so that's normally how we could work with a set, or I'm sorry, a list. So now we can go ahead and add to this if we want. We could change the elements in here, but again, this is a lot of code just to get a new list up and running. So we know that there are ways to kind of shorten this, right? So if we wanted to, we could do something like this. We can say, all right, give me a list of strings, and we'll call this cities again. And we could do new array list. So now inside of the array list, we can use the arrays.asList, And we can say something like Cleveland, Westlake. So this will actually do the trick as well. But the problem with this in this case is that it is mutable and modifiable. So we can add and remove elements to this collection, and we can also change the elements within that collection. So if this is what you want, this could get you there. If we wanted to, we could do something like this as well. We could say, all right, give me some cities, and instead of creating just a new array list, we can come in here and use that arrays.as list and Cleveland. Whoops. And this will work as well, but in this case, it's a little bit different. It is unmodifiable and not immutable. So this means that we can't add new elements to it. So if we tried to call cities.add Parma, and then we did, let's just print this out, cities. And if we go ahead and try to run this, we're going to get an error here. And variable cities, whoops. Jeez, I'm having all kinds of problems today. Let's run that again, but that should give you an error. So basically it's unmodifiable, meaning we can't add new ones to it. And it's not immutable, so we could go ahead and say change one of the elements that are already in that list. So if I wanted to get a unmodifiable immutable list, and I wanted just a quick way to do it, there's actually a way to do this in Java 9. I'm not go ahead and show you, and then we'll hop back to the documentation and kind of walk through some of the things that are going on here. So a quick way to do this is I can go ahead and say list string, call it cities again. Now I can call list dot of, and you'll see a bunch of different overloads for this particular method. So we can come in here and say, all right, just give me Cleveland, Westlake, and that's that. So now if we tried to modify any elements within this list or add to it, we are going to have some problems. Again, this is unmodifiable and immutable. So let's jump back to the documentation real quick because I want you to see something. So I'll give you the links for this. So here are the docs for list, and if you look in here, it says immutable list static factory methods. They give you a convenient way to create immutable lists, and these list instances created by these methods have the following characteristics. They are structurally immutable. Elements cannot be added, removed, or replaced. You cannot pass in null elements. They are serializable. The order of the elements in the list is the same as the order provided by the arguments, so it maintains order. They are value-based, and they are serialized as specified on the serialized form page. So those are kind of what's going on there, but I guess the first question that I had when I thought about this was, why was there all these different overloaded methods? And what I heard from some of the creators of this is that basically what happens is it's better performant to, if you're going to pass in 2, 3, 4, 5 elements, to call one of these methods that are asking for that number of elements. There is a method that takes any number of elements. So up to 10, you're going to call one of these methods. Anything after that, you can call this. But again, it's just a little bit less performant than one of these methods. And that's why you're going to see these number of methods in all of these. So for list, set, and map, you're going to see the number of different methods that are available to you. So let's come back in here and just take a look at another example. So you can do this with set, we talked about. You can do this with list. You can also do this with map, as we saw in the documentation. So maybe I wanted to create a map string of string, and we'll call this baseball teams. And instead of creating the baseball teams variable and then going through line by line and going, all right, baseball teams dot add, and then line by line adding a new baseball team, we can go ahead and initialize this collection right here. So we're going to say map.of, and then you're going to see it's going to take a key value pair every time. So we're going to say for the Cleveland, they are the Indians. For Chicago, they are the Cubs. And for Pittsburgh, they are the Pirates. And that's that. So now we can use that shorthand to go ahead and create a quick map for us. So now you can see we have that map. Chicago is equal to Cubs. Cleveland is equal to Indians. Pittsburgh is equal to Pirates. So I thought this was going to be helpful. So I hope you really enjoyed this. Again, just a great way that Java 9 and even going back to Java 8 has really helped to kind of clean up the language, make it a little less verbose, and just more enjoyable to work with. So what I want from you is leave me a comment below if you like some of the new changes in Java 8 and 9. And I'd also want to hear from you, what are your favorite changes? What are your favorite additions that have been coming in the language lately that really make it more enjoyable to work with for you? So let me know below. As always, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you guys would like to see any more tutorials like this. So with that, we'll go ahead and get out of here, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.